A chill snaked down my spine the instant I saw the gaping emptiness on my porch. It wasn't just missing. My Amazon package had vanished, swallowed whole by the suburban abyss. A phantom pilferer was at play, and a primal fury began to simmer in my gut. I checked my doorbell camera, and the blood in my veins turned to ice. There she was, Karen. Standing brazenly in the unforgiving light of day, a viperous smile twisted her lips as she snatched my package. No furtive glances, no attempt at stealth, just pure, unadulterated entitlement radiating from her like a toxic fog. My breath hitched. This wasn't just about a goddamn package. This was about principle, about the audacious slap in the face this woman was delivering. My mind spiraled, dredging up the whispered grievances of neighbors, and the venomous rants on the HOA Facebook group. Karen had been terrorizing this neighborhood for years, a one-woman crime wave operating with impunity. My jaw clenched so hard it ached. A brand new, state-of-the-art gaming headset, something I'd bled anticipation for all week, was now clutched in the grubby paws of a woman who probably thought Ram was a type of sheep. The doorbell camera replay mocked me, that shoulder-length blonde bob, those oversized sunglasses concealing eyes that surely gleamed with malicious glee, that revolting expression of superiority you could taste like bile. She tucked the package under her arm and sauntered away as if she'd just been awarded a goddamn medal. This had to end. I needed to put a stop to her reign of terror. I sucked in a lungful of air, the acrid taste of injustice stinging my throat. The police? A futile gesture. A report would be filed, a board officer would make a token visit, and Karen would unleash her Oscar-worthy performance as the innocent, confused woman who'd, mistakenly, grabbed the package only to have it mysteriously disappear. No. The cops were useless. I needed to confront the Gorgon directly. My heart hammered against my ribs as I marched across her meticulously sculpted lawn, a battlefield masquerading as a garden. The doorbell chimed, the sound grating on my already frayed nerves. Within seconds, the door swung open, revealing Karen, her face a mask of saccharine sweetness barely concealing the disdain that churned beneath. "Can I help you?" she purred, each word laced with patronizing fake concern. "Hey, Karen," I snapped, cutting through the pleasantries like a hot knife through butter. "I think you accidentally grabbed my package earlier." She blinked, feigning a level of confusion that would insult a toddler. "My package? Oh, you mean?" "Yeah," I bit out, my voice tight with barely suppressed rage. "I saw it on my doorbell camera. You took it about an hour ago." Karen gasped, clutching her chest as if I'd accused her of witchcraft. "Oh my goodness! That must have been a mistake. I thought it was mine." I stared at my face a stony mask. "Really? Because it had my name on it." She crossed her arms, her voice hardening. "Well," she said, "maybe Amazon delivered it to the wrong house." "They didn't," I shot back, each word a bullet. "Because I law you steal it from my porch." Karen let out a dramatic sigh, shaking her head as if dealing with a particularly dense child. "Listen, I don't appreciate being accused of theft. Maybe you should check with Amazon instead of harassing me." My jaw clenched. The sheer, unadulterated audacity was breathtaking. "All right," I said, stepping back, forcing a semblance of calm. "If you're sure you don't have it, I'll just check with the HOA. I'm sure they'd love to see the footage." That got a reaction. A flicker of panic danced in her eyes, her lips pressing together in a thin, calculating line. But before she could spew another lie, the shrill, demonic yapping of a small dog erupted from inside the house. Karen's eyes darted back, a flash of naked panic crossing her face. For a split second, I saw it, the package, sitting on her entryway table, still sealed, still undeniably mine. I could have pushed. I could have ripped into her right there and then. But I knew how this would play out. Karen wouldn't admit guilt. She'd double down, play the victim, and twist the narrative until I was the villain for daring to hold her accountable. Fine. If she wanted to play games, I would play games. I forced a smile, the muscles in my face protesting. "No worries, Karen. I'll take care of it." Her eyes narrowed, a sliver of suspicion piercing through her manufactured innocence. But before she could respond, I turned and walked away, the adrenaline coursing through my veins. Back inside, I grabbed my laptop and dove into the neighborhood Facebook group, a cesspool of suburban anxieties and simmering resentments. It was a gold mine. Post after post detailed missing deliveries, all within a 3-house radius. The blood boiled in my veins. She had been doing this for a long time, and somehow, she had always slithered away unscathed. That was about to change. I hammered out a post, my fingers flying across the keyboard. "Hey neighbors, just a heads up, caught someone on my doorbell cam taking a package off my porch today. If you've had packages go missing, check your security footage. I'll be sharing mine soon." Within minutes, the post exploded. Comments flooded in. "OMG, was it Karen? I knew it. She took my daughter's birthday gift last month. Can we please do something about this woman?" I leaned back, a grim satisfaction washing over me. The seed was planted. But this was just the beginning. I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the bone, that Karen had seen the post and was already plotting her escape. She always did. This time, however, I wouldn't let her. I needed proof, solid, irrefutable proof, that she was behind all of it. And I knew exactly how to get it. That night, I initiated my plan. I took an empty Amazon box, nestled a small GPS tracker inside, and placed it strategically on my porch. Bait. Shiny, irresistible bait. I would bet my life savings that Karen wouldn't be able to resist. I armed my camera feed, dimmed the lights, and waited, the silence amplifying the tension in the air. 30 minutes crawled by, each tick of the clock a hammer blow against my patience. Then movement. There she was, Karen, peeking out from behind her curtains like a predator testing the wind. She crept onto my porch, her eyes darting around, primal paranoia etched on her face. Then, with the speed of a striking viper, she snatched the box and scurried back inside. Gotcha. I checked the GPS. The package was now inside her house. I grinned, a predatory glint entering my eye. "Oh, Karen, you just made a huge mistake. Because tomorrow, I was going to give you a package you'd never forget." The plan was simple. If Karen wanted to keep stealing my packages, I was going to give her a package so memorable that it would haunt her dreams for years to come. I called Alex, the one person who could help me execute this flawlessly. Alex answered on the third ring, his voice thick with sleep. "What did Karen do this time?" he groaned. "She stole my Amazon package," I said, my voice low and dangerous. A pause. A sigh. "Of course she did. I need your help," I said, lowering my voice further. "Something extreme. Something she'll regret." Alex was silent for a moment. Then, a faint chuckle. "I think I know exactly what to do." The next afternoon, I stood in Alex's garage, staring into a plastic box filled with pure, unadulterated chaos, an entire colony of angry, buzzing hornets. "This is insane," I said, watching as Alex meticulously secured the box inside a larger Amazon package. "This is justice," Alex corrected, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "Think about it, Karen loves taking things that aren't hers, right? Well, now she's going to take something she doesn't want." I could already see it, Karen, smug as ever, sneaking onto my porch, grabbing the package, rushing inside, and the moment she opened it, pandemonium. Alex had engineered the box perfectly. A small, spring-loaded mechanism would snap open the second she lifted the lid, unleashing the swarm into her home. The hornets were already agitated from being transported, and once they were free, they would have only one mission: sting anything that moved. "Just to be clear," I said, watching as Alex sealed the package with a perfectly printed Amazon label. "This isn't going to, kill her, right?" "Not," Alex said confidently. "Hornets hurt, but they're not deadly unless she's allergic. And even then, she'd have to be unlucky." I thought about it for a second, a flicker of doubt warring with my burning desire for revenge. Then I nodded. "Good enough for me." That evening, I set the trap. I placed the package on my porch, angling my doorbell camera for the best possible shot. Then I went inside, turned off the lights, and waited. The tension was almost unbearable, a tightly wound spring threatening to snap at any moment. I didn't have to wait long. At precisely 9:17 p.m., movement. Karen, the suburban gremlin, emerged from her house like she had a sixth sense for stolen goods. She crept across the lawn, her eyes darting around, ensuring that no one was watching. She approached the package, hesitated for a fraction of a second, then snatched it up and scurried back inside. I leaned forward, my eyes glued to the screen, every nerve ending screaming in anticipation. Any second now. And then it happened. Through the slightly ajar blinds of Karen's front window, I saw the exact moment she opened the box. 1 second of stillness, then absolute, unhinged pandemonium. Karen's scream pierced the night like a siren, a horrifying symphony of rage, terror, and sheer disbelief. A second later, the front door burst open, and Karen came flying out of the house like she was being chased by a demon from the depths of hell. She flailed wildly, slapping at her arms, her face, her legs as if she had been set on fire. Behind her, the unmistakable swarm of hornets spilled out like a living nightmare, filling the air around her in a buzzing, angry cloud. She tripped over her own feet, went down hard on the grass, rolled, and then scrambled up again, still shrieking as the hornets continued their relentless assault. From the window, I saw her house devolve into utter carnage, furniture overturned, dishes shattered, her tiny, yappy chihuahua running in frenzied circles, barking its lungs out. She darted toward her garden hose, fumbled with the nozzle, and turned it on herself in a desperate attempt to escape the hornet fury. Water blasted everywhere, soaking her from head to toe, but the hornets weren't done with her yet. She ran in circles, flapping her arms like a deranged bird, before finally sprinting down the driveway, screaming for help. I had to bite my lip to keep from laughing out loud. The chaos had attracted the attention of the entire neighborhood. Porch lights flicked on, curtains twitched as people peeked outside, some venturing onto their porches to witness the spectacle. And then, just when I thought things couldn't get any funnier, Karen grabbed her phone and called 911. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I could imagine it. "Yes, officer, I need help. My house is under attack. No, not by burglars, by hornets. Yes, a box full of hornets. Someone did this to me." Within minutes, the flashing lights of emergency vehicles illuminated the street, a fire truck, an ambulance, a police car. A team of firefighters rushed toward Karen's house, trying to figure out exactly how one woman had managed to create a biohazard situation in the middle of a quiet suburban neighborhood. Meanwhile, Karen stood on the curb, soaked, covered in welts, her hair an absolute disaster, shaking with rage as she pointed at my house. "Oh boy." The police officer walked up my driveway, giving me a suspicious look. "Sir, your neighbor claims you booby-trapped a package with hornets." I did my best to look shocked and innocent. "What? No way. That's insane. Who would do something like that?" The officer squinted at me, clearly not buying my act. "Do you have any idea how this happened?" I hesitated for a second, then shrugged. "Well, I did hear she's been stealing a lot of packages lately. Maybe someone finally got fed up." Karen shrieked from across the street. "It was him. It was him. He did this." The officer sighed, clearly regretting his career choices. "Do you have any proof?" Karen sputtered. He has cameras. His doorbell camera. Check it." The officer turned back to me. "Do you mind if we take a look?" I nodded, keeping my expression neutral. "Of course, officer." I played the footage, watching as Karen's face twisted from rage to pure horror as she realized she had just implicated herself. There, in crystal clear HD, was undeniable proof that she had stolen my package before disaster struck. The officer stared at the screen for a long moment, then turned back to Karen. "So, you're admitting you stole the package?" Karen's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. She knew she was caught. The officer sighed. "Ma'am, you're lucky we have bigger things to deal with right now. But I suggest you stop taking things that don't belong to you. Karen looked like she was about to explode, but she stayed silent. She had no choice. I watched as the firefighters worked to clear the hornets from her house, shaking my head in mock sympathy. Poor Karen. She had wanted to steal my package. Too bad she got exactly what she deserved instead. Karen wasn't going to let this go. I could see it in the way she stood there, drenched from the garden hose, covered in welts, her fists clenched so tight that I thought she might explode from sheer rage alone. As the firefighters cleared the last of the hornets from her house, she didn't even acknowledge them. Her eyes were locked on me like I was the final boss in her villain origin story. I had won the battle, but I knew at that moment that Karen had declared war. The next morning, I woke up to find my trash cans overturned and garbage strewn across my front yard. The smell of rotten food hit me before I even stepped outside. Karen had struck back. I stared at the mess, shaking my head. She wasn't even trying to be subtle about it. I grabbed my phone, opened my doorbell camera app, and sure enough, there she was, at 2:45 a.m., creeping across my lawn like a gremlin, giggling to herself as she dumped bags of food scraps all over my driveway. I wasn't even mad. If anything, I was impressed by her commitment to pettiness. But two could play this game. I cleaned up the mess without a word, not giving her the satisfaction of a reaction. That only made her more desperate. The next day, my internet mysteriously started cutting out at random intervals. At first, I thought it was just a technical issue. But when I checked the side of my house, I found that someone, I wonder who, had tampered with my router, pulling out a few key wires just enough to mess with the connection. Then came the HOA complaints. Suddenly, I was getting emails about noise violations from my non-existent loud parties, parking violations for a car I didn't even own, and an official warning about aggressive behavior toward my neighbors. Karen had gone full scorched earth mode, weaponizing every suburban rule in an attempt to make my life miserable. That's when I realized she wasn't just looking for revenge. She was trying to break me. I needed to end this. I sat down with Alex, explaining everything that had happened over the last few days. He listened with a grin, shaking his head. "She's losing it, man. You got under her skin. She won't stop until she thinks she's won," I said. "So, we need to make sure she knows she's lost." Alex leaned back in his chair, cracking his knuckles. "All right. What's the plan?" I had to think big, bigger than hornets, bigger than trash attacks. I needed something that would make Karen rethink her entire life, something so catastrophic that she would never, ever dare to mess with me again. That's when I remembered a certain viral video I had seen a while back, one involving a very special kind of revenge. "Glitter bomb," I said. Alex's eyes lit up. "Oh, hell yes." We got to work immediately. Alex's engineering skills, combined with my burning desire for retribution, resulted in the perfect device, a fake Amazon package filled to the brim with industrial-strength glitter, set to explode the moment the box was opened. But that wasn't all. We also installed a fart spray mechanism, one that would release an unbearable stench in timed intervals, ensuring that Karen's house would smell like a combination of sewage and rotting eggs for days. And just to add insult to injury, we included a tiny speaker that would play a pre-recorded message the second the package detonated. "Congratulations, package thief!" It was a masterpiece. I placed the package on my porch in the early afternoon, right given Karen's security camera. She wouldn't be able to resist. I even went the extra mile, labeling it as something that looked valuable. High-def home security camera system. The irony was too perfect. Sure enough, I barely had to wait 2 hours before Karen took the bait. I was in my living room when I saw the motion alert pop up on my phone. I opened the live feed, and there she was, practically vibrating with excitement as she rushed over, grabbed the box, and hurried back inside. I held my breath. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. And then, the moment of truth. Through the camera footage, I saw the briefest flicker of movement through her window. She was inside. She was opening it. Boom! A mushroom cloud of glitter erupted like a bomb had gone off. The door to Karen's house flew open as she staggered outside, her entire upper body covered in shimmering, impossible to remove specks of pink, blue, and gold. She let out a scream of pure, unfiltered rage, frantically brushing at her hair, her clothes, and her face, only making it worse as the glitter embedded itself deeper. Then came the fart spray. Her scream turned into a gag as the putrid smell filled the air. She stumbled, dry heaving. Then, the final touch. The speaker crackled to life. "Congratulations, package thief!" Karen let out a sound that I can only describe as a banshee wail before running back inside, slamming the door behind her. But it wasn't over. The glitter bomb had been designed to disperse a second round of fine, almost invisible dust. So when she moved, touched anything, or even breathed too hard, the glitter spread further, coating every surface it touched. Every step she took only ensured that the nightmare wouldn't end for weeks. I watched as she flailed around through her window, stomping and thrashing, her tiny chihuahua barking in complete panic as it, too, became a glitter-covered victim in her self-inflicted disaster. The neighborhood group chat exploded. People had seen it. Someone had even managed to record it. And within hours, Karen was the talk of the town. Her downfall came fast. The HOA, already sick of her antics, had been looking for a reason to shut her down for good. The footage sealed the deal. Multiple neighbors came forward with their stolen package complaints, and the HOA finally decided enough was enough. She was fined, publicly shamed, and worst of all, completely humiliated. A week later, a moving truck pulled into Karen's driveway. She was leaving. The neighborhood watched as she packed her things, still faintly glittery, her face permanently frozen in a look of seething humiliation. No one offered to help. No one said goodbye. By the time the truck pulled away, taking Karen and her reign of terror with it, the street felt lighter and peaceful. That night, Alex and I sat on my porch, sipping beers as we watched the sunset. "Well," he said, raising his bottle. "You did it." "I did," I agreed, clinking my bottle against his. "No more stolen packages, no more HOA complaints, no more Karen." We sat in silence for a moment, enjoying the quiet. Then, I heard the familiar sound of a delivery truck pulling up to my house. I stood up, watching as the driver placed a box on my porch. My actual package was untouched. Victory had never felt so sweet.